everyone, welcome to practice. Thanks for joining me tonight. We are going to do a short flow this evening, and the focal point will be making space. Obviously, I'll have to move some things around. When you're ready, please roll out your mat and join me. We will start this evening on our backs. Lying down flat on your back, on your mat, releasing your palms to the ceiling, settling into the earth, and beginning to tune in. Notice the breath here. We start to become aware of the inhales and the exhales and the path they take as they move throughout our body. Now notice the space between the breaths. I remember it was at least a few years into my yoga practice when I realized there was such a thing as space between the breaths. Continue to notice this as we move into our first active posture. So stretch your arms out wide to the side like a T and engage your outer arms and maybe even a little bit in your upper shoulders and your back. Really engage and sort of lifting up a little bit through the chest, kind of feeling that stretching as the collarbones widen, and then lift your arms up to touch. So on an inhale, they can touch lightly, and then exhale back all the way out. Let's do that again. Inhale, exhale. And as you do this, notice, keep going, the openness that you feel when your arms are outstretched. Maybe you feel a little bit of pulling on that kind of near your armpit and the inner arm, maybe a little bit through the chest, depending on how tight these muscles are. Let's keep going. Do two more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale back down. So from here, bring your arms back up to touch, and we're going to actually do kind of side to side, but continued touching. So you're going to move your right arm down to the right side, but you're going to slide your left palm down the arm and keep your left elbow straight. I'm just doing this for demonstrating. So slide, if you can, keep it straight, your left palm down as your right arm. Maybe it touches the ground, maybe it doesn't make it all the way. And then slide it back up and then switch sides. Now the right palm is sliding down the inner left arm as the left arm goes toward the ground. And just follow this with your breath. There's no right or wrong here. It's just about finding that sensation point with your arms and palms, and maybe doing a connection with your body and your breath that you've never experienced before. Nice and slowly, continuing to follow the breath, allowing the movements to be easy and gentle and slow. And when you're ready, you can bring your arms back up together to meet. And you're going to clasp your hands together And then we're going to do just a little bit of wrist work. So from here, just kind of turn your hands in a figure eight in whichever direction it starts on. And we'll just do a couple of these. It's always good to warm up the wrists whenever you do anything that's weight bearing on the hands, which of course downward dog and some of our other postures are. And then rotate it the other way, which is a challenge. Sometimes my hands can't really figure out what that means, so just give it your best shot. And when you're feeling satisfied, take a deep breath in, bring your hands kind of down to the chest, and then back to sort of our Shavasana hands with the palms up. Beautiful work. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of a side twist before we move into our seated posture. So lifting your right leg up, bringing the right knee into the chest, and then ever so gently twisting over that left side. It's nice and early, so don't expect too much from yourself. Goal is to have your cross shoulder down. I am nowhere near making this knee or this shoulder be on the ground right now. No stress, no pressure. We're just slowly introducing the concept of space to the spine and the body. Any pain or any tugging, simply come back to our half when relieving pose. Just keep that knee in there. So again, really early, be very gentle with yourself, introducing the concept of space. And when you're ready, untwist and release the right leg back to the ground. Now bring your left knee up and into the chest and do the same thing on this side. So nice and gentle, just kind of a little introduction for the body. Again, my shoulder, my knee, nowhere near the ground, absolutely acceptable. This is very early in the practice. We're simply just letting the body know what we might need from it later. We'll take one more breath here. And when you're ready, come back into center. Bring your right knee in to meet your left and hug your knees in nice and tight. So kind of condensing all of the space that we were just introducing, and then crossing your right ankle over your left. We're going to do some rock and roll. So this creates space between the vertebra. You can usually hear that happening live as you keep going with your breath until you feel like you're ready to come up to your tabletop position. We find ourselves in tabletop. Your palms will be beneath your shoulders and your knees beneath your hips. I sometimes twist my palms out slightly so that my wrists, instead of parallel with the front of my mat, are slightly etching outward. This helps with the way my shoulders are positioned in my body, so that's something maybe that would work for you as well. So in our posture here, as always, really looking for that neutral spine, so we don't want too much of an arch or too much tucking. It's very neutral. We want to broaden our collarbones and soften our shoulders, lengthen the neck, and prepare for our cat-cow. So we begin with cow. So on your inhale, belly drops, chin to the sky. And on your exhale, we move into our Halloween cat. And inhale. And exhale. This is a great warm-up for the spine. Keep going with your own breath. This starts to create some movement and some lubrication and space in the spine. Typically something I always add into my practice in some form or another. Do one more together. And exhale. Once you finish that cycle, come back to your neutral tabletop position. Lovely. So from our tabletop, let's take a quick child's pose. So widen your knees out as far as the mat and bring your toes to touch and sit back to your heels and release your head down, child's pose. And as you do this, try to work through the sensations in your upper back. So I often find that my first 1 to 10 child's poses will often make me very aware of tightness in my upper back. So just take note of that. I'm taking note right now that there's definitely some space needed there. On your next inhale, reach your right and left hands over to the right side. Let's get a little bit of stretch in that left side body. So let's do one breath here. And exhale out. Slowly come back to center. I'm going to creep over to that other side, getting that stretch in the right side body. I think I just felt my back crack there, so be careful and mindful of what might be shifting during flight. And when you're ready, come back to center. Take one breath here. And exhale out. Let it go. And then bring yourself back up to a seated posture. Now come back into your tabletop and we're going to move into gate pose. Again, thinking about creating space and opening up. So from your tabletop, pitch your right leg out slightly and you're going to move to feel more like you're in that flat plane. So from this attempt at a flat plane, you're opening up the side body, the front of the body, arm can be outstretched. Try not to lock the elbow of the hand that's kind of holding you, the arm that's holding you here. And then from here, pull yourself up, arms out nice and stretched, like from the beginning of our practice. And then when you're ready, you can stretch left arm slightly bent and down on that left leg and arching over to get that stretch in the side body. Beautiful. And keep breathing here, nice and open, shoulders down away from the ears. The breath is what's critical. Inhale. And exhale back down. Return your right palm to the ground. Windmill your arm, your left hand over. Bring your left leg back and your right knee back around, and you've returned to your tabletop position. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then we're going to repeat. I'm going to turn around. So now we're going to do the left side. So pitching your left leg at the knee out toward the outside of your mat, and then opening up that body, peeling open and putting the sharp edge down on the ground, opening through that collarbone, long neck stretching forward. Arm can go up, can actually be a bind as well. And then from here, all the way up, arms outstretched like from the beginning of our practice, and then your right hand can go gently on the right leg and you stretch over for that beautiful side stretch. Lifting out of the waist, looking for length, making space here between the ribs. Inhale. And then exhale back down. Return the way you came. So left palm down, your right palm down, right knee, and then left knee comes back out. Now let's roll through that left to right this time. So same side here. Easy for me because I'm already on this side. So pitching that left leg out, you know where you're going. Opening up that side body, peeling up and out, and then lifting up, arms stretched, feeling the stretch and the openness here. Right palm to the right leg, stretching over. Really lifting out of the waist, create that space. And then back down. Left palm, left knee, right knee. Beautiful. I'm going to return to the other side. So for our right side again, pitching out that right leg, peeling open the front of the body, lifting that arm up to the sky, and then when you're ready, lifting yourself up. This great outstretched wingspan, left palm to the leg and stretching over to get that stretch in the right side body. Lift up out of that waist, feel that space being created, making room for the breath, breathing here. And exhale back down the way we came. So right palm and left knee and right knee. And we are back to our tabletop. Beautiful. From here, we're going to move into downward dog. So toes up. From tabletop, we're going to move into downward dog. So come up on your toes, Bring those knees up an inch or two and lift your hips to the sky, downward dog. If this is your first downward dog of the day, give yourself some love. Some dynamic movement is always recommended for at least the first couple down dogs. This is where you get those kind of sticky points out, the cobwebs out. You can kind of really focus on stretching out those hamstrings, getting a little movement. And then when you're ready, come to stillness. And as we come to stillness, we might notice that our heels are not on the ground, and that's okay. They might get there one day, they might never, and that's completely fine. I often keep my knees bent during most downward dogs in the class because the goal is not to have the heels down with straight legs. The goal is to have a lengthened spine and to work to equate the weight distribution in the arms and the legs and have safe shoulders. So if you have all those other things going for you, then you don't need to worry about heels on the ground. So look forward between your palms and step, hop, or float to the front of your mat and meet me in ragdoll. From ragdoll, bend those knees. Keep them nice and bent, nice and soft. Move the weight a little bit forward, almost where you feel like you might tilt over. Luckily I have 12 pillows here in case of an emergency. And as you move the weight forward, clasp your elbows. Allow the weight of your head to lengthen out the neck, really stretching out that thoracic and into your cervical spine. One more breath here. And palms to the floor, and then when you're ready, rolling up. Using the core, head comes up last, and all the way up, arms up, and down through heart center. We're going to move through a modification of a sun salutation and continue our opening focal point. So arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, exhale, forward fold, inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, or you can put your knees down and move into Cobra pose, whatever your body is ready for right now. So from here, lift up your right leg, hip height, no higher. Step your foot between your palms. Before you go up, feel solid here. There's no rush. Pull the weight out of the hands, bringing those side hips in. Place your left foot down, pitched out. Get strong in your legs, and then come up to your warrior one. Beautiful. So key points here, front knee over front ankle. Back leg should be straight with your toes pitched out. So they're not parallel to the back of your mat. They're slightly pitched. Hips should be aiming to go forward. This is naturally a awkward posture for our bodies. So the goal is to attempt to get hips forward, but your core and your waist should be facing forward. So it's interesting to feel the difference between this pelvic girdle and then above. Arms up, strong here, keep breathing. One more breath. And then pitch your left foot up so that you're in crescent lunge posture in the legs. Nice, strong, straight. And when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center, and we're going to move forward and find ourselves in chair pose. So left leg meets the right and chair pose. In your chair pose, nice and strong, squeezing your outer hips in, making sure you can see your toes on the ground. No extra tuck or extra arch here. Nice and strong. Hold. Continue breathing here. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, you can do it. Now, we're going to actually open up. We're going to do a side open arm twist. So turning toward the left, extending your left arm out, and extending your right arm out, open twist to the left. So breathe here. Try to keep your hips facing forward, and you're only twisting from that upper body. One more breath. And returning to chair pose. Hold it. And release down, forward fold. Let it go. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lovely. Let's take one clarifying breath together in downward dog. So inhale and then exhale out of the mouth. Inhale together. Exhale, let it out. Beautiful. Lift your left leg up, hip height no further. Step between your palms, get your foundation right. Key to life as well as yoga, get your foundation right. Pull that weight out of the arms. How do you do that? Side hips all day. Allowing that to take the weight out of the hands, and then root to rise, pitching that right foot out slightly for your stable warrior one, and finding yourself coming up. Front knee over front ankle, back leg. Your feet are on two different tracks, so you can give yourself space for your hips as they aim forward. Nice strong arms, outer upper arms in, keep breathing. And when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center. Going to move that weight forward. Right leg is going to meet left after we pitch into lunge. So ready for the leg for crescent lunge. And when you're ready, bring that forward into our chair pose. I'm going to turn around. In your chair pose, can you see your toes? Can you see your toes? Can you drop down another inch? Can you make mindful notes? If you have a mirror, it's always great to practice in front of a mirror because sometimes it feels a little bit different than it looks in your body. So I highly recommend, especially for chair, where that arch and tuck can be kind of subtle, but really noticeable if you look in a mirror, to practice with a mirror close by. One more breath here. And then twist the torso to the right and open up that right arm, feeling that extension. Open up that left arm, open, twist to the right. Hips stay forward, body in two components. Keep breathing. One more breath here. Where can you make space? And return to chair pose, facing forward. Hold it there. Yes, you can do it. And release down. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Absolutely gorgeous, everybody. Find yourself in downward dog. Again, let's take a nice clarifying breath together. Inhale. And exhale out. Let's do one more just for good measure. Inhale. And exhale out. So from here, lift your left foot up. And just to get us to the next position, tiger curl nice and tight all the way through. Hold. Hold. That spine is arched like a Halloween cat, making space. And foot lands between your palms, and then curl yourself up and find yourself in Warrior Two. From our Warrior Two posture, we're simply going to stand up, so straighten your left leg, and actually turn your right foot out. We're going to try Goddess pose. So bend both your knees, feet are facing out, and drop down. So now we're opening, focusing on opening a different part of our body, our hips. So before we were very focused on the chest, which of course we should not forget about, but now we're going to be focused on the hips. So open up those arms into cactus arms. You can take a mudra here, whatever's comfortable for you. You can get down a little bit like this, holding your thighs. If you're feeling super brave, you can also lift up one heel and down, the other heel and down. If you're really ready to shake it up, you can lift both heels nice and open with those hips, open chest, open arms, shoulders soft, keep breathing. And heels down if you had them up, and release up and meet me in star pose. So arms up and then down through heart center. Now, I invite you to slowly, to make sure your hips are comfortable with this, we're going to invite our body to join us in a parallel foot position. So it's a big change for the hips because that rotation comes from the hips, so take it slow. We're going to do Prasarita Padottanasana, 2 versions. So first, let's do more of a typical version. So broadening the chest, lengthening out, lifting from the waist, and you're going to find yourself in a forward fold. So inhale and exhale, forward fold. And as you come down into this forward fold, you might realize that you can go a little bit wider. So carefully heel toe the feet out. Careful not to lock the knees. So keep a little bit of bend in that knee. Palms can be flat closer to your body or farther out like a downward dog. But the key here is to breathe, find length in that lower back, and just let the body open up for you. We'll stay here for a few breaths, and you'll really be able to tell when your body begins to give you a little more space. So nice as you ease into something like a forward fold or one of these postures where you kind of start out so far above it and then you realize you really got the room to go. Take one more breath here together. Inhale and exhale out. Your next breath, hands to your hips, and then I typically move my feet in a few inches and bend my knees, and then on an inhale, come up slowly. Be nice to the body, be gentle. Don't ever rush these types of postures, especially when you're coming up from an inversion. So let's do one more with our hands behind our back. So outstretch your arms to a T, and then clasp your palms together behind your back. If possible, you want to keep your palms clasped together, but this takes a lot of mobility in the shoulder area, which I certainly do not have. So what I end up doing is my hands are not clasped as closely, but if you can keep them together, that's actually the ideal goal. So clasping our hands behind our back, opening up through the chest, and when you're ready, inhale, and exhale, forward fold. Again, find the space. Can you stretch your legs out a little bit wider? Can your arms slowly go to meet the floor? Are you breathing? Careful not to lock the knees as you find a little more space, more gentleness, more openness. One more breath here. And exhale, release your hands down. Breath here. And then again, hands to the hips, bending those knees, coming up nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. Don't stress the body out with coming up too quickly. And as always, when you're moving from an inverted posture back up, if you need to take a few calming breaths to center yourself, or if you feel a little bit dizzy, you can take a child's pose. Always listen to your body. So from here, heel toe the feet in, and we're going to meet in yogi squat. So feet should stay flat. They're now back out again. So we're moving kind of our hips around, and then coming down, kind of move around to get yourself there. If this is an early stretch for you, which it certainly is for me. I ran this morning, which is the opposite of this. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center and lift up out of your pelvic area. Take a breath here. And exhale. Place your right palm on the ground and open up through the chest. And open that left arm to the sky. 2 breaths here. Where can you make space? And returning to the center, take 1 breath together in the center here. And exhale out. And now your left palm goes to the ground and your right arm reaches up. Side twist. Opening up. Now we've got an open, broad chest and open hips. Inhale. And exhale. Back to the center. From here, we're going to move into boat pose, Navasana. So you can simply plop on down on your sits bones and place your legs up into your boat pose position. Lately, I've been working on trying to keep kind of a more low profile boat going on, maybe like a tugboat, because I found that I was kind of dipping too far in the back. So open chest. If you're comfortable with getting your legs all the way up there, as long as your chest stays nice and open, that's perfect. We're going to stay here for just a few breaths. So hold nice and strong in your boat pose. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more breaths, nice and strong. Activate that core. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Condensed space here. And then place your feet on the ground and slowly roll yourself down vertebra by vertebra, making space for everything to arrive safely and comfortably on your back. From here, take your right knee into the chest and stay here for just a moment in our half wind pose. Keep breathing. And then slightly using your right hand over your right knee, move and open your hip toward the right side, so kind of toward the right armpit, just a little bit. Don't let that left hip come up. If that left hip or buttocks comes off the ground, then you've gone a little bit too far, so just bring it back in. You can still get a great stretch here without going too far. One more breath here. And when you're ready, bring it back to the center and release it back down next to your left leg. Left leg into the chest. And again, we'll do a breath here. And then we'll slowly move it out toward the left side, managing that right hip. You can also always keep your hand on that hip to kind of guide the body as to kind of the eventual intention. I often do that with side twists as well. And when you're ready, bring it back to the center. And bring your right leg to meet your left, and we're going to move into happy baby. So arms on the inside, hands on the outside, flexing the feet. For me, I always grab the outside of my ankles because it's not accessible for me to grab this and keep my lower back on the floor. So I grab my outer ankles, and you can rock side to side, or you can stay still, whatever's more comfortable for you. You can stretch one leg out and then the other leg out. Keep breathing here. And then one more posture I'd like to try today, and I'm going to move into a slightly different angle so that you can see a little bit better. But from your happy baby posture, actually release your legs out, up and out into a V. Now, this is going to do a lot of stretching in the inner thighs, so please take it easy. If this is something that's not accessible to you, you can always just make sort of a smaller V, but activate those legs and kind of turn them out, think like ballerina style, to really just get a little bit of different muscle activation than you typically would if you just were up in maybe a waterfall, which is with hips neutral. So kind of having those legs out. If you're on the wall and comfortable doing legs on the wall, this is also great to do on the wall. Stretching them out, and then let's do a little bit of dynamic movement. So you can use your hands to assist and close your legs and open and inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, bring them back together, and then let's move into that happy baby again. Just kind of a reset. Arms in, hands out, giving yourself that little bit of reset after trying something new. And remember, in yoga, as with anything, it's okay to say no. If it's not your jam and your body says that's not for me, that's the right thing. So it's always difficult, especially for some of us that, you know, are very competitive, and especially competitive with ourselves. We always want to get everything right and go all the way, and whatever the teacher is doing, I have to do that. It's just not how it works. You can get the maximum benefit of a posture and look nothing like your teacher or someone that's, you know, practicing for 35 years. So always keep that in mind, please. Bring your knees in, hug of gratitude, and when you're ready, release into Shavasana. As you settle here, Return your breath to its normal pace. Palms face up, legs turn slightly out, lips are parted. Settle into all of the joyful and wonderful benefits of the practice that you just did. This is like the cup catching all of the goodness for you to just drink down and soak in. Make space for yourself. Make space for yoga. Make space for moments of stillness, moments of awe, moments of pure joy. It is in this space that the universe can surprise you. Continue breathing here, and I will let you know when it's time to come back. Begin to deepen your breath. Coming back into the room, slowly wiggling fingers and toes, and bringing gentle movement back into the body. Invite that movement slowly inward until it finds its way all the way to your center. When you're ready, push over onto your favorite side very slowly and stay in this fetal position for just a breath. Slowly push yourself up, keeping your eyes closed if you can, and meet me in a seated posture. As we close our practice today, I want to thank you, as always, for taking the time to honor what your body needed today. I hope to see you again. Arms up, inhale. Exhale through heart center. Thumbs to our third eye, we bow. Namaste.
I don't understand why you can only see the video showing the door after you record. It's not showing up in the shot before.